VMs serve a vital role within Arcadia in making the stores look and feel good to staff and customers. This section of the DVD is dedicated to helping you perform your VM duties safely. The safe way to work off a ladder is with it in this position and not side on to the item you are trying to reach. However, this is not always possible, as you can see here. If you cannot reach the item you are trying to change using the safest route, then this alternative way can be used. However, to perform the task in this way, you must use 3 people. One to access the ladder, another to hold the ladder so it does not tip sideways, and the third person to help pass or lower the item to the person on the ladder. Maintenance or VM work within 2 meters of atriums or similar voids should be undertaken out of trading hours, and appropriate access equipment should be used. Ladders or other access equipment without guardrails should not be used in such areas where, if you were to unbalance, you could fall over the balustrade from one floor to the floor below. Position fixtures away from balustrades and ensure merchandise placed near balustrades cannot be used as steps. Ensure that all visual merchandising above head height is secured to a fixed object by fishing wire or cable ties. Ensure that visual merchandising above or next to stock cannot be knocked down by customers accessing the stock. Ensure that visual merchandising equipment is not too heavy for the item it is being placed on or attached to. Ensure merchandising is above 6 feet 6 inches over walkway areas. Never put overhead displays within 2 meters of an atrium or void area. Always wear and secure your tools in a tool belt when working at height, and cordon off the area around your ladder. Always report defects or potential problems to your manager immediately. Always ensure that wall poles and shelves are secure every time you change the layout of them. Only technically trained staff are to move or refit wall poles, especially those that have clamping brackets, screws and toggle nuts. Only qualified contractors are to fit or move jade rails. There may be occasions where you need to use a drill in order to hang something securely on a wall or to drill into mannequin bases. Prior to undertaking any drilling, you must first ensure that you have read and understood the asbestos register so that you know that where you are drilling will not disturb any asbestos. Gloves and goggles should be worn at all times, and your hair should be tied back. You must scan the area you are drilling with the cable and pipe finder to ensure that there is nothing that could cause you harm behind where you are drilling. Ensure you select the correct type and size of drill bit for the material you are drilling into. Ensure that you tighten the chuck securely around the bit so as it can't move. When commencing drilling, ensure you slowly press the trigger and only increase the speed when the bit has made an indentation in the item you are drilling to ensure it has some grip. If drilling into an item that is not secure, ensure that it cannot move by applying ample pressure to it. If you need to use a knife to produce some visual merchandising, then you must only use company-approved safety knives, similar to the one shown here. You must follow these basic rules. Always use a sharp blade. Dull blades require more force and thus are more likely to slip. Replace the blade when it starts to tear instead of cut. The two most common hazards associated with the use of hand tools are misuse and improper maintenance. Misuse occurs when a hand tool is used for something other than its intended purpose. An example would be using a screwdriver as a chisel. This may cause the tip to break and strike someone. Improper maintenance allows hand tools to deteriorate into an unsafe condition. Examples would include cracked wooden handles that allow the tool head to fly off, or mushroomed heads that can shatter upon impact. The type of personal protective equipment needed when using hand tools depends on the nature of the task. As a minimum, eye protection should always be worn when working with materials that are likely to splinter, or the work undertaken could cause ejection of material. The use of hand protection may also be appropriate to provide protection against cuts, abrasion, and repeated impact. Use magnetic or screw-holding screwdrivers to start fasteners in tight areas. Always use a screwdriver tip that properly fits the slot of the screw. Here are some points about other hand tools you may use. Only suitably qualified electricians should undertake electrical work, and if doing so should only use fiberglass or wooden ladders, and in any case should never be used in proximity to live conductors as they still have metal parts. Ensure that items such as Christmas lights, drill battery chargers, temporarily unused light boxes, etc. are left out for inspection, as they will not be allowed to be used if the expiry date of the re-inspection has passed. Newly purchased items do not need to undergo testing until they are a year old. Ensure that only lighting and electrical items approved by head office are used in the stores, as a lot of items for sale in local stores are for domestic use only and not commercial use. Ensure that extension leads are only used as a temporary measure. If it is required for long periods of time, then contact the maintenance help desk to arrange for a permanent socket to be installed. Never plug an extension lead into an extension lead. RCDs must be used when plugging in portable display lighting. Ensure cables do not drape over sharp edges, near spotlights or heat sources. Where applicable, ensure flickering lights are kept to a slow speed to avoid triggering photosensitive epilepsy. 12 volt or 24 volt lighting attached to a transformer is advisable to use rather than full 240 volt equipment. Only items with the CE mark should be used. And that's pretty much all you need to know. Remember, while it's important that we look good in store, don't cut corners for the sake of fashion. Use the proper equipment and bear in mind what you've seen here.